Hi guys, I'm Kirsten, the problem solving teacher and Teachers Pay Teachers author. Today we are going to be talking a little bit about data on TpT. Data is kind of boring, but it's important to start to get a handle on it and start to look at it because it can help you figure out what products you want to make and where your sales are coming from and all of those kinds of things. So this is going to be super basic. If you're somebody who hasn't really looked at their data at all, this video is for you. This is not going to be a deep dive. So I'm just going to be sharing with you some of my data from Teachers Pay Teachers. So here I have, this is my first year on Teachers Pay Teachers. So in my first year, I made $642.38. You can see where my sales started to grow bigger and bigger. So when I started back in, I posted stuff in September and October. In my first month, I made nothing. And then slowly I started to get some more sales. You can see, I can see my monthly totals all the way through. It's really, the more products I had, the more opportunities I had for sales. In May, when schools closed for the summer, my sales went down. And then I think part of the reason that they went down is because I started to try to devote time towards creating my grammar resource, and I wasn't getting the same number of products out each month. So people kind of forgot that I was there and that all of my poetry resources were there. So you can adjust this by, whatever you want to see. So there's conversions. So conversions is when somebody looks at your product, how many people are actually going from looking to buying. So I believe the number that I've heard everywhere is that anywhere like around 5% is really good conversion rate. And then if it's, really high conversion rate, you might need to raise your prices. And if it's a really low conversion rate, you might need to fix up your resource or lower your price. So those are some of the factors in there. So, I'm kind of hovering around 5 in general. This is across all of my products. So that's a pretty good conversion rate. So that's good news. Teachers Pay Teachers also tells you like what was your last payout and your earnings and all of that. They tell you like what's your total sales, what's your earnings so far, and they just kind of lay that out for you. This can tell you about your views. The more people that see your product, the more people that are going to buy. So, February is one of my higher months in sales, and I had a lot of people viewing my products that month. And the two really do go hand in hand. Like when you saw my sales screen versus this screen, they really are pretty close. So my total views for my first year on TpT was almost 3,000. Units sold. So this just kind of tells you how many units you sold each month. So April was my highest month with 35 sales. And video plays, preview plays. Honestly, I don't have any videos or previews up. I'm just not there yet. Tonal assigns in Teachers Pay Teachers. So in December, I had some teachers assign one of my Easel products, which is just the Teachers Pay Teachers digital version of things that you can opt into. So that is some of the basics of my general dashboard. Let's look at traffic real quick. So again, this is for my whole first year on Teachers Pay Teachers. Most of my sales came from Teachers Pay Teachers itself, but here you can see that I had almost 60 people click from my YouTube channel to Teachers Pay Teachers. Now, if somebody clicked on it and then like saved a resource for later, then it's not going to show as a conversion. So if if somebody was like on my YouTube channel and then they went to my Teachers Pay Teachers store and they said, ooh, she was talking about this really briefly and I thought that would be good for my class. Let me save that for later. And then they went back the next day, or if they were watching on their phone and they went to their computer to download. The other thing you might notice here is that I have some click-throughs from Not So Wimpy Teacher. So the best I can figure the reason that happens is that somebody was on the Not So Wimpy Teacher webpage, and when they clicked through to Teachers Pay Teachers and were looking at something from Not So Wimpy Teacher, and then in that same session on TpT, they came onto my webpage. So they might have been looking at some poetry resource or holiday resource from Not So Wimpy Teacher, and then while they were there, they were like, well, let me see what else is available. And then they clicked through and found my page. And so you can see I have some from Pinterest. I try to put all of my resources up on Pinterest, Facebook.com, Google AdWords. So all of those just come from people, like if they're on that site first and then they click over to your site, that's where they come from. TpT email. So when you put out a new resource, TpT will send those resources to your followers. So whatever followers you have on Teachers Pay Teachers, the Teachers Pay Teachers kind of tells those followers, hey, that person that you follow, here's one of their newest resources. And so it really just, it's a matter of, right, like you can see some of the click-throughs aren't high, but it's really kind of seeing what works. So you'll notice on a lot of my Pinterest ones is I have like acrostic 3, acrostic 2, acrostic 1 poem. So I have like 4 templates that I use on my Pinterest account. And by putting 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to end up being able to see, hey, people really like this one, but nobody ever clicks on like the 2s. There's a lot more 1s and 3s and 4s here and not so many 2s. So that kind of tells me that maybe I don't even need to do a Pinterest pin with the number 2 template. So the way I get this data, this is really kind of important, is I try to, whenever I create a link to my Teachers Pay Teachers store, I try to use the URL builder. I'm not always 100% with this, but I try to do it. So all you do, sorry guys, those pings are going to keep coming through. So all you've got to do is you've put the link from your Teachers Pay Teachers store right here. And then you can type something like, it's from my problem solving blog or Pinterest. So like that's what you saw on my data. And then you can add more details. So like I'll put the problemsolvingteacher.com, and then I'll put, this is from my this specific blog, like Halloween, best Halloween poems to write with your class. And that way I know where that sale came from. And then you click create a URL and it will give you a URL. And instead of linking directly to that web page, you give them this link and it will track it for you. So that's part of how I have all of this data here from Pinterest, is I use the URL builder. It takes practice. It's kind of annoying, but like if you're doing it all at once, it goes pretty quick. All right, so that's some of the basics of the dashboard. Let's take a look at sales reports. All right, so here are sales reports. So this is just this month for me on my sales reports. And you can see here, it tells you like who bought what. I don't want to stay on here too long because I want to respect privacy of the people who have been buying. You can also see like what states people have bought from: Texas, Virginia, South Carolina, California, New York, Massachusetts. So you can see like what states people are buying from. And it can even tell you about tax stuff, which you don't really need to get into until you're ready for like you're making a significant amount. So that's a little bit about your sales reports, product statistics. It took me a while to find this page, and when I did, I found it really, really helpful. All right. So this is your product statistics. It is basically a list of all of the products that you have listed in your store. I am at 120 items in my store, and again, that took me a full year. And right now, Teachers Pay Teachers is my job. I coach gymnastics too, but I basically this is the opportunity that I'm taking so I can be home with my son to also earn some money for our family. So you can see all sorts of different data here. So there you can like get into more detail. I usually like to look at the sales, and when you click sold, you get, it always takes a little bit of time to load, you get, of course it's taking extra long. Here it tells me that I've sold 14 Earth Day poems. My conversion rate was 12.84, and I made $44.80 from that product. So things like that are pretty amazing. Like when you can see like how much you've sold of each product, it's very helpful. You can also see the conversion rates. I need to figure out how to turn that off because those pings are not going to stop. You can also see the conversion rates. So like a 12 conversion rate, that is really, really good. Again, they're supposed to be around the 5% range, a little higher, a little lower. But like 35. So this is a revision and editing checklist that I made for another product. And I was like, hey, I'll just throw that up and make it available because teachers always need a good revision and editing checklist. It's $1, which is why I've only made $7 off of it, but it has a 35% conversion rate. I could probably up the price to $2 because people are just spending money on it like crazy. But you can see some of the conversion rates. My conversion rates are actually really good. So I could look at upping the cost of these, but when I look at the number sold, I feel like I'm gonna leave a lot of them for now. Maybe as I get more deeper into TpT and start making a higher monthly income, I will do more with it. You can also see that I have plenty down here that they haven't really sold any. So some of them haven't even, yeah. So it really ranges. Activity. One of the things that I really like about this one is when I first started Teachers Pay Teachers and I wasn't making any sales yet, I was feeling discouraged because some people make sales right away. Some people it's a longer process before you can start making those sales. So one of the things that I wish I had found early on, and if you're really just starting with Teachers Pay Teachers, I suggest that you go into your products, the product statistics, and you take a look at this. There is, if you look at your free products, so like that first resource that you put up, it's really helpful when you see, I'm looking for any of my free resources. I have a few of them on here. Printable reading log. Of course, I can't find it now. When you look at those free resources, you can see the number of times that it's been downloaded and such. So page views, product views, how many times people have put it on their wish list, and then downloads. So here, if I do downloads, if I click that, it might help me. So there are some things that I've made for just in general. Like I was like, oh, I have to make this. I'll just put it up on Teachers Pay Teachers as a free resource. It could help somebody else. So this is my Nature Tic-Tac-Toe. This is the very first product I made. I probably need to update that so it fits more with my niche. But 18 downloads. 67 page views. Strategies that work for me, that's another free thing, and 19 downloads. So I really wish that I had found this information really early on, because I would have found it really encouraging to see that people were taking advantage of my free resources, and that it would have just been encouraging to continue to put things up. The Easel statistic, honestly, I don't think that this is very accurate, because it tells you, like, supposedly how much, I've reached 49 teachers through my Easel, 288 students. It's kind of cool to think about your resources helping like way more people than you thought it would. But I don't know how accurate that information is. So like when you look at the number of assigns, I think that's really where you're gonna see like who it's really helped. But I don't know how accurate that data is. That's one of the things about TpT data. The more people you talk to, the more things you look at, people say that it's not really very accurate. It took me almost a full year to get any reviews on my resources. So if you are not getting a lot of reviews, it just takes time. You can ask people to put reviews in when they are like in your product descriptions. TpT does give people credit for leaving reviews. Yeah, see, none of those filters are working for finding my reviews. I have something like, oh, here's one. Here's a review. Like I don't have a ton of them still. Earth Day, I got 3 of them. So it really does take time to get reviews in there. But the people who are really smart about how to use TpT, they will go in before a sale. They'll leave reviews on anything they bought since the last sale. They'll get credits on their TpT account for those reviews, and then they'll use those credits to purchase during a sale. So that's like the super smart way for people to do it, but not very many people do that once they know about it. I mean, why wouldn't you? It's free money on Teachers Pay Teachers. All right, so I think I've covered a lot of the basics of your TpT data. The only thing I haven't really talked about is here. In your marketing tab. So I don't use a ton of marketing. You kind of have to explore this a little. Here's where you can throw a sale if you want to throw a personal sale, not a site-wide sale. And even when you join a site-wide sale, you have to click in and accept through there. Customize your banners. So when you look at your TpT store, if you want to make pretty banners, you have to do it through customized banners. And then this share follow link, if you put the share follow link as a link to your TpT store, it's going to help that followers numbers grow. A lot of people don't put a lot of stock in TpT followers, but if you're interested in trying to get that number up there, then that link can help. So here's where you can customize your banners a little bit. So that is useful. All right, I think that's it for today. Please remember to like and subscribe. Remember to hit the notification bell, leave a comment, let me know all about your TpT data. Hopefully this was helpful to you. And use when you're making sales on a product, make similar products so that you can sell those too. And that's kind of how you find your niche sometimes. If you don't got it right away, you can use that as a signal for what's going to direct your sales and creation process. So take a look at your data, even if it's just kind of flipping through once a month. All right, have an awesome day, and I'll talk to you next time.